Hello there, I'm Master Steve Weston. I'm a member of the ITF HQ Council of Masters, and I'm the Chair of the Umpire and Tournament Committee for ITF HQ. Today I'd like to just briefly talk about my interactions with General Choi Hong Hi. So I met General Choi Hong Hi for the first time in 1993 in Sydney, Australia at an IIC. And I was very impressed by his ability to teach Taekwondo. Of course, being the founder, that's not surprising. But I've been with a traditional Taekwondo style for nearly 12 years at that stage, and I never had any instruction the way that General Choi presented his classes. So it was a really eye-opening experience for me. I went away with a new respect for General Choi. Okay, he was the person who systematized the entire Taekwondo, and I learned from him that one of the most important things about Taekwondo is to ask questions. Throughout his seminars, he's constantly telling people, ask questions, ask questions. Have you got a question? So when I went away from that first IIC, I went back to my home and I pulled out my 1975 Condensed Encyclopedia and I started reading it with a lot more interest. And then suddenly a lot of the things that he'd said in that seminar became clear to me. And from then on, I knew that before I went to an IIC, I had to write down my questions. I had to get the answers to the things that I couldn't quite understand in the encyclopedia. And sometimes that annoyed some of the senior ranks that I was with that IIC at the time. They, I guess, felt that I was being a little disrespectful by asking so many questions of General Choi. But irrespective of that, he was always very keen to answer questions. And he always asked questions. And if you had read the encyclopedia, most of those questions were there in the book. Now, General Choi wasn't exactly the easiest person in the world to get along with, especially at the IIC. If you were not able to answer his questions appropriately or you performed badly, he would make sure you knew it. Not in a nasty way, but in a way that made it clear that you were not up to his ideas of what Taekwondo was. One of his favorite phrases was, who taught you? Who taught you Taekwondo? You asked for your money back. And that was classic General Choi, I think. But he was really an amazing man. He systematized and wrote down what we learn today as Taekwondo. And he's left us this great legacy in his encyclopedias and in what he's produced over his lifetime. And that's where ITF HQ wants to go. We want to make sure that we're keeping that legacy alive and teaching what he taught during his life. He devoted his entire life to Taekwondo, and many of us in ITF HQ believe in what he taught and are trying to do the same as him. So we're offering anybody who wants to join us that opportunity to join in his legacy. So thank you very much for listening to my little broadcast here, and thank you very much, and take one.